Hey everybody, welcome back with the Plapper. Platypus is the name, and today I want to try doing my first character guide video for the game. So let me know if this is the kind of content you want to see, if this is helpful to you, and if you want to see more. I figured I would start with who has been my favorite character so far. I pretty much like every character, but I am a damage over time Andy. So we are going with Tressa here as the first one. So I kind of want to just basically go over all the tabs, how you build her, what teams you want to use her on, and things like that. So let's jump right into it. So what is her basically, archetype? She is a dagger throwing assassin style character. She's going to use a lot of cards per turn, a lot of exhausted cards that she'll generate, like use one card, generate 3 cards, and throw a bunch of daggers. As she's throwing these daggers, she is going to generate poison stacks, or agony stacks as they're actually called, but it's effectively poison, which is a damage over time that lasts for usually 2 turns, sometimes more, sometimes less. And then you are going to build up as much of these as you can, try to get as high as you can, and either kill them with that, or you could then use a payoff card that will scale damage based on the amount of poison they have, but the poison does deal damage itself. So let's actually take a look at her cards here, and we'll kind of discuss how good they are, which ones you're going to want to focus on, and how you're going to want to construct a deck around her. So first, I think her dagger throw is it's mid, don't get me wrong, it's a general basic attack, but it is super flavorful. You have to get her potential up to this point here, but it adds 2 agony effect to the card, so it becomes a card that you may not remove from her deck that much. Honestly, it's pretty darn reasonable, so I like this. It is a really, it's a surprisingly good basic card. It's also fun to use, but I like it a lot. You cannot get an epiphany on it, so it's not going to get any better. Eventually you'll want to get rid of them for better cards, but it is something that you'll probably end up having one of at the later stages of the game anyway. Touch of Darkness, easily her worst card. It doesn't have an epiphany, it just heals. This is the card you want to remove, with one rare exception that I haven't tried a specific synergy that I want to, but she has a synergy with healing, and I don't know if it has to be self-healing or not, but assuming that it could be any heal, this is a card you want to get out of here. Every other one of her cards besides this one is like really good, and they can all get an epiphany. So Unsheathed Dagger, it's generic, right? You use 1 energy, you generate 2 shadow daggers, and then you throw the shadow daggers. So this is basically twice as good as your basic attack initially, right? Because even right away, this does 106% damage and 4 agony, or 2 agony stacks. So it's basically like using not quite as good as using 2 basic attacks, but it is pretty much, it's just better. And what I like here is every single one of these epiphanies, I think, is something you could be happy to see, with 3 of them, I think, being on average better, depending on your ability to copy cards and stuff. So making it cost 0 means you get 3 cards for the price of 0. You got to be careful with the timer here. I think this is pretty good in general, because one of her things that she has is she could be very AP hungry, because yes, she's throwing a lot of shadow daggers, but she's trying to generate them as well, and she also has advanced shadow daggers, which actually do cost energy. So having another thing cost 0 is pretty much always good. It lowers the cost of your deck. It'll allow you to use a different character's card instead of hers as well. Creating 3 shadow daggers, obviously a 50% increase on the card. Maybe just straight up the best one. A 3rd shadow dagger might just be better than making it cost 0. Getting more impact out of each individual card instead of lowering the cost of it if you're not having much energy problems. This turns it into an upgrade. Unsheathed Dagger. This makes it so you create 1 shadow dagger, so you get half the effect, and then every turn for the rest of the fight you get a shadow dagger. So obviously when it's an upgrade, so you use it once, it takes the turn you use it, and then 2 additional turns to become tied with an Unsheathed Dagger. So this is way slower. But if the fight goes 1 turn longer than that, then it's technically better from an energy standpoint. But at the same time, if you would have redrawn this card, you would just have a lot more shadow daggers. So I think it's good. I think it's powerful. If you can get more than 1 of them, it is obviously very good, because then you just start having lots of shadow daggers all the time. But I think it is a little slow. But this is one that I do take because I just enjoy it. This one here, I think, is probably the worst, and it doesn't read the worst because +3 agony effect to created shadow daggers. That means the shadow daggers, instead of having 2 agony, will have 5 agony, right? The issue is that just makes it last longer. It doesn't increase the damage output over a couple turns. I don't think this is bad. Like, obviously it's objectively strictly an upgrade to the previous, you know, the original card, which I think is already pretty decent. So this is the last one I would take. I don't see myself ever taking it, because you always get an option of 3, and I think I like I might take it over the 0 cost one, if I don't need the energy, because I'm using a character that generates the AP. The final one here, yes, it creates 4 shadow daggers, but it exhausts, and that could be good, but if fights can go long, and sometimes 4 shadow daggers, you might not even have room in your hand for them. But if you're really building around all in on shadow daggers, you take this one in the hopes that at the end of the combat, you get the ability to copy this, and then you have, if you can get 2 of these or 3 of these, and then you just have so many unbelievable amounts of shadow daggers early on in the game. This is a very cool card. It's a good card, but I have found it clunky to actually have room for 4 shadow daggers all the time. And then once you use it, then her damage is kind of falling off. So very good card in general. Curse, this one is a little sus, but I do like it. For 1 turn when using attack cards, 1 agony. Like, this is good, right? Obviously shadow daggers are agony. The issue is this is a 1 turn card. Even though it costs 0, it means you have to have it lined up at the right time or it does nothing. If you draw this and then you draw like 1 character's, you know, 2 basic attacks from 1 character and like a shield from another character, and then you have this in your hand, it's a totally dead draw. So the floor on this card is it does literally nothing. I mean, I guess it might activate off other characters' attack cards. Some do, some don't. This is one that I don't quite recall. So maybe its floor isn't literally 0. I mean, unless you draw only skills. But it has a really low floor, so you got to watch out for that. The ceiling is reasonably high, but how many times are you going to do more than 4 agony in a turn if you get like a really, really good turn for it? I'm not sure. But all the upgrades are reasonable. My favorite one is, my second favorite one here is going to be the 4 2 turns. You use attack cards because you're way more likely to make it have a good effect, and sometimes you get 2 turns in a row of a great effect. Yeah, 1 curse to an agony to random enemies when you use any card means the floor is no longer 0. You're always guaranteed to be able to get some effect out of it. Again, I don't remember if this actually counts other characters using cards or not. I found it to be a little inconsistent sometimes. This one is probably just the best though. 1 cost, 4 times 2 agony to random enemies. Now I think this does 4 instances of 2 turn agonies, not 2 instances of 4 turn agonies, which is it's one of those ones where it just the way the numbers are. If this is 4 instances of agony for 2 turns, that is huge. That is very, very good for a 1 cost card that doesn't exhaust itself and has lead. So 50% of the time it's going to be free. That's like 4 shadow daggers with only using 1 card, and sometimes it costs 0 to use it. You don't get the damage of the shadow daggers, right, which is very relevant, but if you're going all in on agony, this curse is enough that I'm like, I'm actually gonna not remove this card from my deck because I want to have a chance at getting this. Again, another upgrade here. All 3 of these ones are good. So what I like is that if you take this card and you get an epiphany on it, you're guaranteed to get one of the 3 that is the most exciting for me. Outbreak of War, 2 agony to all enemies. At the start of the turn, 2 agony to all enemies. So this is probably the slowest. Like, this is probably not... Is this better than generating a Shadow Dagger every turn with the other upgrade? Probably not. But it is totally fine, and it starts at the... you start by drawing it. I like this. I don't think it blows me away until it is... Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest. I just like passive effects like this. This one is probably the worst out of the final 3 I'm talking about. And then this one here, when inflicting agony, inflict 1 more agony on the target. I assume this just extends the turn. This is again, it's pretty good, but it's expensive, awkward to use. I am happy to get all 3 of these, but the one that I really want is the one that just turns it into an agony damage machine. Whereas these are clunky, low floor, these are expensive and kind of hard to use, and like maybe this one's slow, this one is expensive and hard to get out of your hand. This one is sometimes free and always has a great effect, even when it's not free. But the bait, I would not really want this card personally unless it has an epiphany on it, so when you play it, you're running a risk here. Shadow Reload, this card is like super fucking good. Like, honestly, I don't know why they put the heal on this card, but that is like super nice. Like, unironically, just having a card that I want to use to deal damage with in a bit, like also just have healing, is not just tacked on. It feels like it's actually a relevant part of the card. She has a little bit of a healing sub theme because this card has it, I guess, and it's one of my favorite cards that she has. So baseline, it's good. 1 energy, you get a, you know, basically a basic card of heal, and you get a really good attack card. 106% damage, and it does 2 instances of 2 agony. So it's kind of like a 200% attack card. It also has retain and retrieve. So you could use Shadow Reload and just keep the dagger in your hand until you don't have, like, it's so nice because this dagger, you don't need to use it right away. Maybe you want to because it's pretty good, but you might want to save it for a turn where you know that you need to deal damage. Like, oh, okay, I don't need to deal damage this turn, but next turn I know I need to kill the summons, so at least I'm guaranteed to have some damage. That's pretty good. Also, it's just kind of nice if you're like, all right, I don't have any good, I kind of had a bad draw. This card gets rid of the bad draws essentially because you always have something reasonable to do because you could throw it twice, right? The first time, then it loses the retrieve. Now, I will say, you got to be careful with this card. These cards do not exhaust. They are there. So if you are looking at one of the decks I'm going to show you, the Shadow Reload here, you had 2 advanced Shadow Daggers. I have 2 of these in one deck. When you play them both and you have 4 of these advanced Shadow Daggers, you're just drawing only Shadow Daggers because this card doesn't go away and the Shadow Daggers don't go away. So you end up just with a deck of like 50 of these Shadow Daggers, and it's fine for dealing damage and healing, but it's not good for your sanity, and other characters don't get to play. So you got to be careful with that. I would probably not take the 2 advanced Shadow Dagger one most of the time. Also, the X cost skill, there's a specific item that gives you like all X cost skills are X+1, but I mean, even if you use this at 1 energy and you have the X+1, you're getting a 200% heal and 2 Shadow Dagger cards. Like, that's good, but I'm not like blown away for how awkward it is where I have to spend down to the amount of energy, because this, I haven't used this one yet, but I assume it will eat all of your remaining energy. Maybe if you could target how much energy you want to do, then that will be way better. Because if I could be at 4 energy and use this for 1, that will be way nicer. The ones that I would consider is the Shadow Reload here. Well, they're all Shadow Reload, but the one that has the Outbreak of War. When healed by a skill card, create a Shadow Dagger. This is a permanent upgrade. It's 1 energy. It's an upgrade. Every time you heal, I assume that this is not a self-heal. It's when you're healed by a skill card. So if you're running that character, Nia or whatever I think her name is, where she has like 0 cost heal, 1 cost heal, 1 cost heal, every one of those cards always adding a Shadow Dagger, and this isn't unique, so you can get multiple of them. I mean, imagine every time you use a card that heals, which usually cards will heal and do something, you're getting 1 or 2 Shadow Daggers. This seems great, bro. This seems really, really good. So the issue is I don't really love these other ones. All of them get rid of the advanced Shadow Dagger. This is okay. Exhaust all Shadow Daggers in hand, repeat equal to that number. Yeah, it's kind of cool, but like, it's kind of nice to use Shadow Daggers because, so this does 85% damage and 2 agony. Shadow Daggers do like 50% damage and 2 agony, and they cost 0. So you have to spend 2 to get rid of them all. And if it works with the advanced Shadow Daggers to clear them out, maybe, but this is the one I would take the least. And this one I actually think is situationally cool. So hopefully I would get one of these 2. Ideally this one. But this one's reasonable as well, right? This card gets exhausted. You discard all your cards, create a bunch of Shadow Daggers, exhaust a bunch. If you have cards that like, or things that care about exhausting cards or synergies with exhausting, not only does this exhaust and then discard like 5 cards, it also exhausts another 5 cards because all the Shadow Daggers will exhaust when you use them, right? So this is a very, very good card as well. But this is like a full build around power level card. I feel like Shadow Reload with the healing card is legit. Finally, Vital Attack. This is like her payoff if you have a bunch of agony on the target. The base version, it just does okay damage if the target is in agony plus 50% damage. It is a pretty good hit, right? Like it's strong, but she really, like, you're gonna be building her for damage over time because so much of her shit is about agony. I don't feel like she's gonna have that. She's gonna have a good attack, but she's not gonna have like percent attack on everything. I feel like you're really looking for damage over time percentage. So this isn't like quite, this is a way you can go with her kit, but I don't think it is like the most complementary to what she does. This just turns it into a normal big boy attack. Don't get me wrong. I mean, 450% damage for one is very good when it goes off. You're not unhappy to see that. Maybe you have the katana that the first time you attack, you put agony on it as well. So it's like a reasonable card, but it's just not what I'm looking to do with this character specifically. But sometimes you just want something that hits really hard also. Like it's a good attack. The second one here, you hit weaker, but if the target's in agony, you actually do more damage, but it's always going to cost 2. It never accidentally costs 1. So yes, it's even stronger, but once you're at 2 attack, I don't know, man. I'm not in love. But the agony clause, consider that completed, right? If this character's in your deck, it's pretty much completed. This is the one that I would be most tempted to get. 85 times 3, and then for 1 turn, 50% agony damage. So that means all of your agony, again, how does 50% work? Is it going to be, if it does 50% fixed damage, is it a 50% increase to 75 or a 50% increase to 100? Is it additive or is it multiplicative? I don't know. But let's say it double, like, because this could double the agony damage, or it could be a 50% boost. There's 2 ways to interpret this. I think it's additive because it says plus 50% damage. But still, I mean, if this doubles the damage of your agony, you have 5 to 10 agony stacks on them. You just double that. Like taking 20 stacks of agony damage is huge. It is expensive. It is awkward. This is a finisher. If it had retain, it would be way better because you could use it when you really need it. It's a little awkward, but it is very fun. 212 times 2 damage. If target is in agony 3 or more, if target's agony is 3 or more. So I assume this, you have 3 different stacks. Trigger one more time. I mean, 600% damage, freaking huge. This does the least amount of damage out of these, but sometimes it costs 1, and that's pretty darn good. Half the cost makes it like pretty damn good. But I mean, obviously 3 hits of 212, like now we're getting, these are some pretty absurd numbers. I won't lie. These 3 over, like all these are pretty good, but it just, I don't know if I really care about using that much, but I'm probably wrong. This card probably does a shit ton of damage and I should probably take it. The final one here, 159% times 3. Like plus 10% damage per target's agony. Again, I don't know if I ever want this one over the 50% agony damage because they're kind of similar, right? They scale off the amount of agony they have. If you have 10 stacks of agony, this effectively does 20 stacks of agony. If you have 10 stacks of agony, this does 259 times 3. It's not even that much better than this one. So I think this is probably not as good as these other 2 is my guess. So I'd probably take 1, 2, 3, maybe not in that order, but those are the 3. And the final card, even though I said finally, this one doesn't have an epiphany. Very good card. 2 agony imprint. Agony imprint is awesome. When agony is gain additional agony too. This literally doubles the amount of stacks that you put on characters. I mean, unless you put on like, if you use an improved shadow dagger, one of these here, the advanced shadow dagger, it does 2 times 2. That is 4. It does basically does 4 stacks, right? Because it's doubling each individual application. And so that's why I'm thinking if you use the shadow reload skill here, if you're using something like this curse skill, rather, the one that does 4 times 2, if this is doing 4 individual stacks of agony and you have the curse application, this is actually going to do 8 stacks of agony for 1 energy. That is so much. I mean, that's so much for so little. That's 2 cards, a 0 cost card and a 1 cost card. Now they have to have 2 specific cards that are both have an epiphany on them. Sorry, this one doesn't need epiphany, but you have to get the specific epiphany, but I don't think that's that hard to do. So yeah, that's my opinion on the cards. I will show you a kind of deck that I have. I would make changes to it for sure, but because it's not perfect. But you know, I got the Unsheathed Dagger, and the goal here is you want to have Curse Gouge. It's probably her best card in her deck as a support card. And then you just want to generate a bunch of daggers. But I would say for the most part, what you're going to be doing here, you get as many curse gouges as you can. You get as many of the unsheathed daggers as you can. You get as many of the curse and shadow reloads as you can, and then you just pretend like nothing else. But like, you don't ever get something like, especially if you get the epiphany here. If you don't get the epiphany here, it could be a little awkward. So maybe don't pick up all the curses. But this card is just good. But other than that, yeah, I mean, take every single unsheathed dagger, take every single shadow reload, because no matter what, you could convert shadow reload, either keep it as it is, or you can convert it into something that gives you shadow daggers. So you just want to get all the shadow daggers, and you want to make sure they have the agony imprint, so they keep taking in an infinite amount. As far as partners, there are a couple legendary ones that are better, but her best in slot, if you're free to play, is going to be Eloise here. I mean, there's not that many options, right? For free to play, there's 2, and for like the legends, there's like 2. I don't think that either of the legendary ones are like built for her. They're built for other 5 stars. So she doesn't really have that many options here, but she gets to apply a bunch of weaken. She gets a bunch of attack. It's all pretty good here. Potential, really, you only need to get to the dagger throw, adds 2 agony. This makes her early game way stronger. And then you don't really care about this one at all. It increases her dagger throw damage, which is fine. But the void attribute damage is pretty good. I'm pretty sure that works with the chaos, or sorry, the agony. And then other than that, memory fragments, this is exactly what I would be doing here, at least as of now. Get as much of the damage over time as you can. And then I am using increase damage dealt to targets inflicted with agony by 10%. And 12% more attack. These both seem just very reasonable. Also, a good thing about her egos is all of her egos are kind of bad, besides the first one. Cursed Gouge going from 1 to 0 is massive, because at 1 cost, it's still a good card, but it kind of screws up your turns. It even does weaken. But the rest are all kind of like mid, right? Like, oh, using Shadow Dagger to target a guy with Shadow Dagger increases its damage. Like, okay, you get a little bit of damage. Like, yes, of course, like the passive upgrades are good. Wave of Darkness, applying agony is fine. It's like good. In the final one here, when defeating an enemy with agony, create a Shadow Dagger card ×1. I mean, like, it's good, but is it like, it's not run defining. You do not need to feel like she doesn't really come online until she gets that stuff. She's like very good at 0 awakening, and I would say like 85% of her power at Manifest Ego 1. So the kind of characters you want to run with her are, when I said, who did I say before? Nia? I was talking about Mika. I think Mika is like perfect for her, because you have cards like this. You know, if you want to get that card that's every time you heal, you get a Shadow Dagger, something like Source of Water is insane. All right. I mean, even things that just heal in general, right? Is all good. Having attacks that could heal, having the ability to generate AP and stuff is all good. And being able to generate healing is going to be good for that. Plus, I honestly think she could be a little AP hungry, especially if you get those advanced Shadow Daggers. You want to throw like 6 of them. They could be a little awkward to get out if you have all of them. So I do think, I don't like that view. I like this view. So I think Mika is very good. I have found some pretty good synergy with Hugo, because she kind of has a pretty good just synergy with him in general, where a lot of her stuff here, if you look, are skills. And a lot of them will find ways to generate you attacks after skills. So if you have Hugo, who basically will generate one of his follow-up attacks every time you use a skill, and then he'll use it when you use an attack, you kind of have both in one card, right? Use a skill that generates an attack. So you can generate the stack to attack, then you use the attack, and then he'll attack right away. So I think he works pretty good with Hugo. And if he ever gets up to like 5 stacks, she could throw a lot of daggers in a turn, and he could use all of his stacks pretty easily. I like her with characters like, I mean, honestly, she's just pretty self-sustained, pretty good. She doesn't need a lot of support because her kit is so internal. So having like a character that could do shields, having a character that can attack without using AP, having a character that can focus on doing AoE style damage, like she could fit into so many different teams. The main thing you want to worry about is that she really is a single target damage dealer. And you could, like, if they have low HP, you could hit this twice, hit this twice, hit this twice or something. But if you're going to go up against like groups of 4 and you're very all in on her on your team, you could have a hard time, especially on some bosses that you need to kill, like those elite fights where it's 3 guys with a lot of HP. She doesn't really shine in that fight that well. But if you're going up against one guy with like 2,000 HP, she could just melt them like nobody's business by getting all those stacks up. All right, let's take a look if we could do an example fight here. Hopefully I could do pretty good. Not a very good first turn for her, I'll be honest. So we might have to tank a little bit of damage here. And again, whatever. You know what? I quit sandbagging myself, Plat. We are going to quick fix here. We don't need to heal. We're at full. They're going to hit us a little bit. You know, that's life. What we're looking for is like her good stuff. Also, it looks like she carries all the daggers and a thing around her. So here we go. So we've got our couple of our, honestly, this skill is so crazy. We're going to have to spend a decent amount of energy right now, but because she is energy heavy again, remember. So we do that. Remember, it generates a stack on them. Same thing. We do this here. We heal. Nice. Generate the stack. We do this. It'll give us a wave, which will give us one of our energy back. And now we can, like, I mean, we could always do this as well if we really want to, but I don't want to. I think I want to use all three of these. So we attack here, get the agony, he attacks. We attack here, we do the agony, he attacks. And then we attack here, we do the agony, he attacks. And we didn't quite kill him there, I'll be honest. Maybe we could have used that, hard to say, but it's all right. We don't have the shadow one, but like this character's already dead, right? We don't need to worry about this at this point. So now here we go. Watch this. Oh, this guy is already dead, but not in the way that I want him to be. We'll gain 2 wave when we do this. That'll give us, that card's basically free then. So now, let's take a look here. So, right, 2 agony imprint and 2 weaken. So if you take a look here at the character, the agony imprint, it lasts for 2 turns. So if you can get another one, oh, is it even 2 turns or is it permanent? I think it might be permanent. Maybe that icon means it's 2 turns. I actually don't even recall right now. Well, I guess we'll check at the... Well, we won't even be able to check. This character will be dead. But you can see we have another one here. But watch this. When we do this, look how much agony he gets. He's at 1 stack of agony right now. No, wait, that's not even a stack of agony, right? So there we go. Look at this. 1, 2, 3, 4 stacks from 1 card use. If you do this, right, it'll be even more. And then it'll be another 2, and you do, like, you don't even need to attack, because this is an important thing about agony. If he has 3 turns left, if you end turn, he'll take the agony before his turn goes. If you keep attacking him, and he gets to do his agony won't trigger until after his action. Ends when you hit end turn. So you do that, boom, he blows up. And then here, let's keep going. So this is a good attack if you do have your thing. This is actually really good here. Watch 4. This card is so nice. Whirlpool. We're at 3 energy. We're gonna go up to 3 energy and another stack. I wonder if it caps out at that much. Actually, we get a chance to use her ultimate here. Let's use it on this guy. I kind of like that there's no speed up for animations. I think the game just kind of looks good anyway. You get a bunch of these shadow daggers. I am going to use the... I have 3... This will be 1, 2. We're not going to use that. I think we're going to use this. Get a good shield, and he goes up to 3 stacks, and now we can do our thing, right? Boom. Agony. He attacks. And honestly, we might even be able to just wait for him to die on his own. We'll let this guy do his thing. Bada bing. It could be even hard to tell. Like, honestly, the fan of daggers, this one's kind of insane, but we're not worried about that right now. Let's go and do this. All the agony, 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 agony. Oh, that guy's taunted now. Okay, big guy. And look, they've already taken their actions at this point, so we don't even care. We get his heal, end our turn, and they're gonna die before they get another action, right? They're already dead. Well, okay, this one is, that one's almost. So if we hit this one, yeah, we've gotten like 9 actions, and that just killed him straight up, unfortunately. That one we can't even hit. What are you doing to me, game? Here, I guess we'll just kill that guy so we can attack this. I was hoping to be able to show the cool anime end of the game. There we go. Sometimes when you get 10 stacks or something and then they die, it's like, and it's awesome. Anyway, yeah, that was just an example fight of how she kind of works. I'm not going to go through a whole run. This video has been long enough already for 1 4-star character. So again, if you got it to the end, let me know if this sucked or if you liked it, if I need to make it more concise, or if you like me going through every single card and giving my opinion on each one of them for characters that I've played a decent amount of. Anyway, That's all. Much love, per platypus, per platypus. I'll see you on the flip-flops. Bye!